Okay, so we're going to start by opening our basic template, of course. So I have a new file, and you'll be drawing in the object layer, but as you can see on the screen, I'll be drawing in my 0 layer. And so today is all about text. So say I have a box here, and I want to just draw some text in this box. So the command that we'll be using is Dtext, which is the letter D and T-E-X-T. And then by hitting enter, as always, we see in the bottom here that it's asking us to either specify a point to begin our text, or we have two different options here, justify and style. So I'm just going to click anywhere, click right here. And then now it's asking me to specify a height, and I have a default set for 0.25, so I'm just going to hit enter to go with that. And then it's asking to specify a rotation angle, but I don't want to rotate my text, so I'm just going to leave it at 0. And then now I'm going to type. And when you're done typing, you hit enter twice. And that ends our command. So we now have text. Like any object in CAD, I can click on it. It's got a little grip point here, so I can move it around if I want. I've got my O-snap on, so I can snap it to specific spots, however I like. So I decide that's where I want it. I'll leave it right there. Now, let's get a little bit more complicated. Say I want to have my text, but I want it to be justified right. So I want my text basically to show up right in this lower hand corner. So I'm going to do Dtext again. And then this time, instead of clicking my start point, I'm first going to hit J for justify. And when I hit that, it's going to give me a whole mess of options here. So there's a line, fit, center, middle. And then in this class, we're mainly going to focus on all these sort of cryptic 2 letters here. And they all basically mean the same thing here. So T stands for top, so that's going to be justify along the top of something. M would stand for middle, and then B stands for bottom, so that's the first character. The second character is L for left, C for center, and then R for right. So basically just say it in your head what it is that you want to do. So in this case, I want to justify bottom right. So I'm going to hit BR. So I'll just select right here, BR. Now, again, it's going to ask me where do I want to insert my point. So this time I'm going to select this bottom right corner. This time for my height, I'll go 0.5, a little larger. And then, again, I'll hit 0 since I do not want to rotate my text. And then now when I type, you'll notice, hit enter twice. Now it's perfectly justified my text to the bottom right. With me so far. And you'll see that time I did text twice as large. Now, say I've got another box. And this box, I want to have my text perfectly centered in the center of this box. So the first thing we need to do is put together some kind of point that I can snap to. So what I'm going to do is set up some scaffolding. So I'm just going to do 2 bars here, going across 2 lines that go across, which will give me a perfect point right here, which is the middle of my rectangle. And then I'll run my Dtext command again. And then I'm going to hit J for justify. And then this time I'll hit MC for middle center. And I'm going to click on the snap point I created here right in the middle. I'll leave it at 0.5 again. And then I'll choose not to rotate my text. And then now so this text here is now perfectly centered in my box. And then, of course, I want to delete my scaffolding line. And then the only other thing is, let's see, if you want to edit your text. So obviously if I click on it once, I can select my text. And you'll notice that since I justified this middle center, it's actually given me a grip box in my middle center. So I could perfectly center it anywhere I want just by moving that center point around. And then if I want to edit my text, if you double click on it twice, so click, click, and then now it's highlighted, and now you can edit it just like you would any other Word document. And then you'll notice by double clicking, you actually are running a CAD command called ddedit. And what's nice about that is when you click on another piece of text, it automatically assumes you want to edit that text as well. So when you look at today's assignment, you'll notice there's a lot of repetitive elements. If you're smart, you'll use your copy command and just copy everything along. So you'll put your text in one box first, and then just copy those for all the repetitive elements. So there's like 8 repetitive things there at the bottom. And then you just edit the text that you created just by double-clicking on it. Once you're done with that, click on the next one, and it just maintains that ddedit command for you. And let's see. Okay, and the only other thing is text pretty much always goes in our text layer. So say I want to put all 3 of my items here in my text layer. I'll select them, I'll hit layers, and then you hit your text layer here at the bottom. And then if you haven't figured this out, CAD's kind of weird in the sense that black is white and white is black. It comes from the days when basically everything was black and white, and screens were black, and you basically wrote in white or grain at the time. But obviously when you went to print, your paper was white and your ink was black in a plotter. So CAD just always had those colors reversed, and 20-something years later it's still the case. So even though your text looks white in your model space here, when you actually go to print it, it'll show up as black. Any questions at all about the dtext command, creating text, justifying text? Okay, so when you do today's assignment, just think efficient, copying repetitive elements, creating things once. Make sure that everything's centered, scaffold things correctly, delete your scaffolding when you're done. And then you'll notice I have a lot of text that I put in the green layer, I think it was the hatched layer. You don't need to recreate those multi-layers. Those are just so you know how each text is justified. Okay. Have fun.